I'm Dane, and this is Dane Explains. If you have ears or eyes, or actually maybe if you're missing either, you've probably heard of Elon Musk at this point. It makes global headlines when Elon posts an inappropriate meme on Twitter. It's not just that he's the richest man in the world. It has a lot more to do with what he's doing with that money. He's always had his detractors from the beginning, for various reasons. What are the reasons? And how valid are they? Also, why do people hate him so much? Let me explain why. There are three primary types of Elon haters: investors, skeptics, and most recently, frothy-mouthed woke people. And yes, all three of these types can overlap and do in a single individual, or many single individuals. So I think to figure out this whole mess, we need to start where Elon Musk comes from. Fill in a little bit of the backstory. He's originally from South Africa, born to May Musk, who was and still is a fashion model, and Elon Musk, who's mostly been out of his life. His father used to own half of an emerald mine in Zambia, so it's not like he was born poor. Even though at some points he had virtually nothing to his name, he did still have connection, which most of the time is the most important aspect of acquiring and growing wealth. He also had two siblings. His parents divorced in 1980, and Elon stayed with his dad in South Africa for 2 years after that, but decided to leave after he figured out his father was evil. And yes, that's Elon's words. Musk also had a keen interest in computers when he was a kid. And if you know anything about computer prices in the 80s, you'll know it wasn't a poor man's hobby. That was $1980, and you can see 3x those numbers today and still have room. He wrote programs as a kid, which he actually sold and made money on. He also moved to Canada as a pathway to get to the United States, since his mother was a Canadian citizen and he knew it would be easier to get into the US if he was already in Canada. It's worth noting he moved by himself and lived on a cousin's farm for a year. He got into the US on an academic visa. After graduating, he and his brother founded a company called Zip2 on funds that he borrowed from his father. That was just the beginning of Musk's career. He also put all of his money on the line in a few different gambles over the years, but he managed to come out on top. Musk pivoted after he sold PayPal when he founded SpaceX and co-founded Tesla. This is where he really started to get detractors. At first it was people who thought he was foolish for putting all of his money into SpaceX and Tesla, both of which were long shots. The thing to point out here is Elon didn't found these companies to make a monetary return on his investment, which whoever is watching this in business will be able to tell you that a return on investment should be the #1 goal of any major company. If you don't believe me about his motivations, I did a video on that, link in the description. His goal with Tesla was actually to make an electric vehicle people wanted to buy. His goal with SpaceX was and is to make life multiplanetary. Usually startups like Tesla attract a few investors from the founder's connections. If the company fails, the employees and the private investors are the only ones who lose out. This is all well and good, but once a company goes public, which Tesla did in 2010, it opens itself up to market manipulation, kind of like leaving the safe harbor for an open ocean. This is where he started to pull in a lot of haters, especially from investors who knew Tesla was a long shot. Honestly, when I first heard about Tesla and SpaceX, I kind of rolled my eyes and thought, 2 more companies are big on claims and I'll never hear about again. So the investors started to make investment bets against Tesla, like short selling against them. I'm not going to go into the details, but this hurt Tesla a lot. It also made it very hard for them to borrow money, which they needed sometimes to stay afloat. I mean, obviously, every company needs money to stay afloat. Normally, this is the point when the rats would abandon the ship being Tesla in this case. Elon kept the company afloat, however, and the short sellers lost their investments. So it was not failing that got so many people angry at Elon, it was succeeding. The thing about that was people on the left and the right sides of the political spectrum infest. This is one of the major reasons why Tesla has been ignored and even spurned by lawmakers on both sides of the political spectrum. They don't want to lift a finger to help a company survive when its survival means they're losing money. So that was hater type #1. Hater type #2 is the skeptic type. They hate Elon for similar reasons to type 1, but it's losing out on an emotional investment that makes them angry. The YouTuber Thunderfoot is a good example of this type. Like I pointed out, I was very skeptical of Elon for a while. The technology Elon was saying he was going to develop seemed far-fetched, and I never thought anyone would give him enough money to succeed. Now, most of the people who fall into this type of hater think the one reason Elon's companies are still afloat because he keeps borrowing money from investors and not because they're making money. That was very true for a while, although Tesla has been turning profit for a few years now. Now, they think that Elon is just running a Ponzi-like investment scam because the technologies and goals are way too lofty to achieve for a long time. As time has gone on, Elon has actually achieved many of these goals, but they were too emotionally invested in failing, so they resort to splitting hairs to criticize him. He either didn't deliver the exact product he promised, or he delivered it late, or both. This is galvanized further when they see Elon worshippers, who would otherwise be sane, down-to-earth people, but just glaze over all of Elon's undelivered promises. Which, to the credit of Elon skeptics, he still does have many undelivered promises. Although Elon has recently said in an interview, "I turned the impossible into late." Things taking 2 or 3 times longer to be delivered than promised has been a running joke with Elon, people calling it Elon time. So, now, for the last major kind of Elon hater, the Vocator. Quite frankly, these people did it themselves, but why not, right? They had huge success until now. Elon has always been a bit of a liberal. If you follow him over the last 5 years or so, you'll notice he has distanced himself more and more from people in media that have gone woke. And by that I mean people on the left who aggressively attack anyone who does not agree with them and then accuses them, oftentimes of things that are completely false. They try to treat anything they don't agree with as hate speech, therefore not protected by the First Amendment, while letting other people who cater to them slide while doing and saying exactly the same things as the people they hate. Elon used to read the satire news outlet, The Onion, for instance. When they started to do woke hit pieces only a certain political class, Elon stopped sharing their stuff. He still liked the satire side of news, so where did he go for his fix? The Onion's only non-woke competition, the Christian-run Babylon Bee. Elon even gave an interview to the guys that run the Babylon Bee. The other side of the coin was that all of the major social media platforms are mainly staffed by woke employees who live in the socialist bubble that is Silicon Valley. They've been applying their rules unfairly depending on political ideology, although I'd say on purpose. You could argue it's just an unintended bias because of their bubble. The rules have even been stretched and misapplied to take down one of my own videos. You can still find it on the non-traditional platforms, of course. The last straw for Elon is when Twitter banned the Babylon Bee for, let's just say, calling a spade a spade. That is what ignited this whole Twitter buyout. Obviously, Elon is no hero here, more like the dragon when someone tries to steal its treasure.
You don't want to wake the dragon, do you?
He only moved to save free speech when it was his and the people he liked's free speech that was getting infringed. Ironically, all these woke people have woke the dragon.
And now you've woken the dragon.
And now he's purposely giving them many more reasons to hate him. However, he's fairly well insulated financially now. So, he can't just be cancelled like so many other people have been. This brings us around to a very tiny bonus group of Elon haters, the Love Scorn group, consisting primarily of just one person. You're probably familiar with the whole Johnny Depp and Amber Heard defamation lawsuit, which, as of making this video, is just wrapped up. Some people may have even noticed Elon's kind words to the both of them on Twitter recently. The reason he said that is because he knew both of them when they were a couple, even hanging out with them at Johnny's place. Well, what many people aren't aware of is one of the major reasons Johnny and Amber broke up is because Amber Heard was cheating on Johnny Depp with none other than Elon Musk. So, if anyone has a legit reason to be an Elon hater, it's Johnny Depp. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please press the like button, subscribe to my channel, and ding the bell to get notified when I post new videos. Also, please support me on Patreon, link in the description. The more people support me, the more time I can dedicate to making videos like this one. So, until next time, have a great week.